Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for April 6th. And we'll have now a flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get into the warrants, we have a recycler's license zoning renewal for CIA salvage. Sean, would you like to present?
My name is Sean Gerard, CIA Salvage. Currently on Route 5, I have a recycling license which says we go above and beyond just being a junkyard. That recycler's license goes through the state. We get sent in when we send in our dealer plates and they renew it. It was to be renewed for the first part of April, so we're already running behind. It's a simple form. It doesn't mean that Stan can't come to my property every day. It doesn't mean that he can't write me up for anything else. I have a letter here from Stan rescinding a March 18th notice of violation that he figured out was wrong. I have no violations down there as of now. I have a neighbor complaint, which is, I've had there for 30 years. The new neighbor that I have, which was Mrs. Ferguson's house, is now Charlie's daughter, and she has made a couple of complaints. One of them was I was in there on a Sunday, and she heard me there, but we don't have a noise ordinance. And I obviously can tell you, I'm not there to piss anybody off. If I have to be there, I don't want to work on Sunday either. It's a dire need for me to be there. If I need something I gotta take care of, I gotta be there. My conditional use permit in here says I can haul gravel on Sunday. I can do my construction work on Sunday. I can't open the junkyard. You came to me and you wanted to buy a part on Sunday, I tell you to go home and come back on Monday.
Right.
And so I have, as far as the complaint with the neighbor, one of them was Jimmy Savoy, pulled in the morning at 6 o'clock. My hours are 6 to 6, Monday through Saturday. And I thought it was at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Well, it's actually, according to the November 2014 paperwork, excuse me, it's 6 to 6, 6 days a week. And then it says I can haul gravel on Sunday. That's ridiculous. I don't need to haul gravel on Sunday. And I'm not trying to make noise to wind up the neighbor. Mrs. Ferguson lived there for 50 years. The junkyard's been there since 1970. I've been here for 35 years going through this crap with the boards. The neighbor complains, what do you want me to do? We don't have a noise ordinance. It's her. She can call up every day and make a complaint, if that's what we're gonna discuss. So if we make a complaint every day, I'm the one that has to pay the price for it. Is it fair? No. There should be a notice of violation and a notice of complaint. That's why Stan had to rescind all of this and get it straightened out. You have it in your hand now. You had it today. Stan went through it. I asked Stan if he would be here tonight. He said no. We do everything we need to do. We do water testing. We do everything. We do 100% of what we got. I have no violations down there, and I do not want any violations. And I certainly don't want that not getting signed off and have a violation with the state. So they come down and give me a hard time on my dealer plates. It doesn't mean anything. Stan can come there every day if he wants and say, Sean, I got this. Sean, I got a complaint. Sean, I got a noise complaint. You don't hear, the voters that we have today are nothing like what we had 20 years ago. They were old cat engines with street pipes on them. Well, all the stuff we run today is Volvo, energy efficient, EPA emissions, all of that. So I don't understand why we have to fight to get a conditional use permit. Stan used to sign it off with the previous board, and that's been probably 4 or 5 years that's been done. I brought it into the previous boards and said, here, I need this to be signed, and the previous boards have signed it. Like I said, again, I have no violations. I have plenty of paperwork here that states I'm in line. I have several different businesses there. We have trash, we have demo, we have demolition, we have trucking, we have used cars, and I have no violations. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody speaking in favor? Cheryl?
This just goes on and on and on, and it's ridiculous. Not just with Sean. There's just, everybody does their own rules, and just because one person or two persons, I've had complaints down in my house, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna have to revamp my whole house, even though I don't have a business. People don't like things, they complain about things, but it doesn't make it right to harass somebody in their business. And, you know, what is right is right. I mean, if he's broken all these rules and everything else, fine, you know, do whatever. But if he's abiding by what he is doing, and the CEO and the state doesn't have a problem, why won't the board, you know, sign?
Anybody else for?
Can we cut it down to like 20 minutes instead of 3-hour conversations?
Yeah.
Merrill Farron. I thought there was an ongoing notice of violation that had been issued by Stan, which I thought state licenses could not be issued if there was an ongoing violation. So one is that, and I thought the violation was about open gate on weekends or on Sunday. Also, there have been numerous citations which, well, Wade probably would be the one who'd be most knowledgeable, that frequently Stan has sent, the CEO has sent a copy of concerns that he has about the CIA property that includes the size of the CDD pile or the used car area, how many car depths of material is there, et cetera. So there is ongoing concerns that have existed. I only know of that one notice of violation, but I thought if that's active, it means that you have to have a remedy to that before you could be signing any legal paperwork to the state. I'm sure I can come up with more information, but it's pretty black and white. This is not, I don't think this is the black and white issue. It's pretty gray how many concerns exist. And even if it means tabling it for a week and doing your own research to understand the full implications and have copies of that material to review, it'd be helpful rather than make a mistake and grant a permit for another year. Thank you.
John. Anyone else? John?
This has just gone on for too long. I mean, this recycler license gets signed every year. It has nothing to do with the other things that go on down there. He has no violations in place. You can't tell somebody they have to keep a gate open or closed. He's not open on Sundays, but that doesn't mean he can't go down there and work. I mean, he can't, nobody else with a conditional use permit's required to gate their property off when they're closed. They have business hours. He's open for his business hours. And if he wants to go down there and work, if that complaint is that he's working there amongst those hours that aren't in his business hours, that's not fair to any business. I mean, you know, you could go down to your place and go do work when you're not having customers. I mean, anybody with a conditional use permit can get into their property and work with the business not open. And I mean, none of this should stop this from being signed. This is a small formality for what's going on down there. It has nothing to do with all the other things, the other operations. It's solely for the recycling of the auto parts. And there are no violations for that piece of it. So, and I don't think there's any violations for anything else. So without that, there's no reason this shouldn't be signed and the guy can go on and do his business.
I know we got, there was, I believe, 4 violations, or there was, no, pardon me, there was 4 complaints on noise on Sundays there. But we don't have a noise ordinance.
It's hard, I mean, you're correct. I mean, there is no noise ordinance, and, I mean, it's clear that there are some people that don't like his business, and that's too bad. It's been there forever. It's not gonna change. It's been there long, 19, 50 years, you said, or something.
35 years.
I mean, and he's been there 35. You know,
Before that.
there's things that are gonna go on down there on those hours that he doesn't have customers coming in, and that's just the nature of the world, in the business world. So it shouldn't stop this from getting signed.
Again, I'm coming to the mic because I want to make sure that everybody at home can hear this as well, because I have a lot of people that text me and all of that. How many businesses do you think we got in town? Let's call it 500. Okay, just because somebody makes a complaint that they don't like me. So I got 4 complaints on the books right now that Stan had a complaint. Don't you think he should come to me and say, come, drive right down there. You can drive down there, Howard. And say, Mr. Gerard, what are you doing? And then I can show you what I'm doing, why I'm there and what I'm doing. Okay, like I said, one of the complaints on Sunday was Jim Savoy driving in, and it wasn't a Sunday. I was there 2 Sundays because I had to get trucks moving, and I did that. I moved some cans around, which is all part of, I can do that. Charlie Pellegrino can do that in his dooryard, and he doesn't need a permit. It's under the home carpentry, you know, a home business. I can haul gravel. I can show you the paperwork right there that says I can haul gravel on Sunday. Do I do that? No. So in the last 12 months, I've got 4 times that somebody's complained. Is my complainant here today? No. If I'm going to be accused of something, shouldn't my complainant be here to see me? And shouldn't I be able to see the complaint that we got and what it is and say, okay, Mr. Gerard, we had the noise meter, and the trucks going down over the hill make more noise than anything else. So this is ridiculous. Just because I got a complaint doesn't mean somebody's going to hold up my license. I have no violations through Stan, whether Dr. Farron likes me or not. I have tires, I have other things. Well, those are all in compliance. And it has nothing to do with this permit that I'm here to ask you to sign today. Not a goddamn thing. I even got a videotape of somebody calling me the next fucking super fund for Limerick. And I don't want to put up with his mouth all night either, because this is ridiculous. He's not a neighbor. He shouldn't be here. It's simply a recycling license, and that's all I'm asking you to sign. I'm not asking you to give me anything out of the ordinary or nothing else. I just want to be in compliance.
Sean, I got a question. A couple of years ago, you came in, you were supposed to put a fence up all the
Fence up
way,
what?
from the right side of the gate going in, all the
Yeah, we
way.
ended up putting in cement blocks, and it was all approved. So that there when Mr. Merrill was driving down the road, cocking his head at 55 miles an hour, not watching where he's going, you cannot see anything there. There's blocks that are there between 8 and 12 feet deep.
And is your used car area, is that part of this permit?
No, it isn't.
Well, I realize that, but
The only thing that's
your
part
used
of this
car
permit
area
is
is
me
not a
pulling
used
apart.
car area anymore. There's
It is
about
a used car area.
well,
You know,
but-
you got big trucks in there, you got other things in there. I'm allowed 100 cars in there, 2 deep. This permit here that you're looking at right now is simply a recycler's license. There's not a goddamn thing to do with my used car area, my what you can see from the road, my tire pile, my metal pile, or any of that. My detention ponds has nothing to do with it. It's simply a recycler license so I can sell auto parts. Anything else?
I'll give one last time, Errol, that's it.
There was a statement made a moment ago that no one else is here to talk about this, but I don't know that this was publicized. So how would anyone who might have other input have come to this when it's a surprise that this is happening? I heard rumor of it, and that's how I arrived here. Number 2 is, I'm asking you to just simply read what the law is about this recycler's license. I could be wrong, but I don't believe I am. 2 is, look at what was written by the Zoning Board of Appeals for the review of his hours and the fact that on Sunday he would be closed and what he's allowed to do. I'm not telling you what that is, but instead of making an instant decision, make an informed decision. Thank you.
Again, Sean Gerard, I don't have any violations, so I don't know what we have to have a hearing for. You guys were supposed to schedule it if I had violations, and we're gonna have a discussion and an open topic. But it's everybody's known that we were coming here today. It was 3 or 4 weeks ago I got pushed off, and now I'm here today. I don't understand that, I don't have to have a public hearing. I have no violations. I don't know what you're gonna have a public hearing about. The only thing I need this board to do is sign a recycler's license so I can be in compliance with the state guidelines. That's it. It's not up to this board to decide whether I have tires out there, I have a tire, or somebody drove in my yard, or I have a gate at the end of my driveway. That's not what this board does. The planning board does that.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve McLean.
You gotta speak up, Steve. I can't hear you.
Okay, Steve McLean. As part of the appeals board the last 20 years, we've gone through this and through this and through this, and the last appeal was probably 50 pages, and I won't recall all of it, but there was a lot of discussion about hours, okay? And most of the discussion was about Sunday, all right? And everybody agreed he wouldn't be open for business on Sunday. All right, we have, I think there's 6 businesses going on down there. This is just for a recycler's license tonight. Planning board does some, I don't know who does the rest of them, but regardless. So the discussion was pretty lengthy about no Sundays, okay? And there was some people pushing that he can't even be in there. Well, that just ain't gonna hold up in court. We know that. Mr. Alan Chamberlain was here that night because I had asked him to come down, and he was pretty eloquent at what he said. He says, look, if we have a snowstorm on a Saturday or Sunday, you're saying that Mr. Gerard can't go in his yard on Sunday and clean up so we can open up for business on Monday. All right, it was simple as that, okay? The gate thing, you know, that's another thing, all right? If he's closed, he's closed. If he goes in there on a Sunday and there's paperwork or anything else, so what? The gate's open. All right, if you're not open for business. And the other thing, and I'm a used car dealer, we can't sell new or used cars on a Sunday. So if somebody's always in there selling cars, well, you can't do it. The state won't let you do it anyway. So, you know, this, how many years? So I think that was 2014. So I've gone 12 years now without the gate thing being brought up. All right, and whether there's violations, what Stan does, this is the recycling thing. And really, unless the state come down and said, you know, he's not recycling right, then that's your business. You know, it's recycling. At some point in time, this town has got to figure out, there's 6 businesses, which ones do we regulate? Because I'm going to tell you, maybe off a year or two, 20 years ago, the sitting board at the time said on TV they wanted nothing to do with CIA. They told the state, you take care of him, okay, which was wrong. And the state, we know the state. They're not going to come down unless somebody drops a bomb here, okay?
No.
So now we've taken it back, but now that we've taken it back, we seem to want to add some restrictions to everything, which I think Jimmy Gary had a recycling license, was before 1970, and that's
Yeah.
going on. And that's really the board's thing tonight, is the recycling license, okay? If you're telling him he can't take a Volvo apart, so be it. But recycling's recycling, all right? And all the rest of the stuff doesn't intertwine with it. It's all separate. But at some point, the town's got to figure it all out of what we're doing, because the planning board's doing something. All right, it was mentioned at the planning board a month ago that they were mad because you guys were going to meet and give a permit before they gave something else, and they're all different. All these permits are different. I mean, I've got a letter from the board back in 1981 or something saying I don't need a permit. But I actually did, and I got one, but they said you don't need it. So, Dr. Farron hit it on the nail. Everything here is gray. And I've said it on TV a million times, and every time we go to MMA for a meeting, everyone will tell you. I walk out of there, and everyone that's from Limerick, I say to them, whatever you learned tonight, just forget it, because it doesn't apply in Limerick. And that's the truth. All right? We've had attorney after attorney tell us that we can't go to court. All this stuff is gray. Everybody interprets whatever way they want. So, I mean, this is a recycling license, and all the other bad things that he's done in the past or everything else, that's fine, but, recycling, we're holding up something, and I'll tell you, my feeling is if he calls the state and says, oh, they didn't give it to me, they're gonna say, what do you mean? They've issued a license for the last 65 years for recycling, all right? That's all this thing is, and I don't think there was ever any recycling hours. I'd love to look back the last 60 years, all right? It was the appeals board with all the hoopla going on that said, all right, will you agree to some hours? And we're the one that set the hours, and he agreed to it, all right? So that was the appeals board. Now, if you guys go and say, well, we want you to close at 2 on Saturday or something, it just mixes the whole thing up, and I don't even know when his hours are. The recycling seems to be over to the right side of the building, And like I said, if something, he goes in there on a Sunday, or I've gone by there on a Sunday and the gate was open, I immediately call him up thinking somebody broke in. It was one time he said the secretary was in there doing paperwork, okay? And this noise stuff in this town, we don't have a noise ordinance, okay? And you go uptown and the new silo runs 24/7 some weeks, okay? That's what, we don't have it. When they start the crusher up, well, you guys have had complaints over the crusher and stuff. And this year here, they were working overnight doing paving. First time ever. So we have to be careful with that, because if you're gonna tell them down there they can't work at night. And right now, the state, they want everybody paving at night, there's less traffic. So
Yep.
if we're gonna do one for one, we're gonna have to do it for everybody. Maybe the motorcycles, we ought to have a noise ordinance. You ought to just sit down and shut up.
No. So what Steve just said, I don't know how long Mr. Hackett has been with us, I don't have that information in front of us, but if we go back 12 years, that's 624 months. In 624 months that I've been coming here, I have 4 complaints. I think that's a pretty goddamn good track record. I might have Dr. Farron in my pocket every day for a complaint, but, my actual complaints that we have listed today, I have 4 complaints that I was there on Sunday, out of 624 months.
Sean,
Just what?
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sean, I got a complaint. I didn't pass it on or anything to Stan because it was in the last couple days, but all the cars that you have to the left-hand side of your gate,
Yeah?
those are recyclable, those are cars to be recycled.
No, those are used cars.
Well, there's no way you can have 25 used cars because you've got them backed up to the
You guys don't
fence.
regulate that. We're not here for that today. That's what I'm trying to explain. We're here for a recycler's license. If you want to get into my used car lot, then we can get into that bullshit. But today, we're here for a recycling license.
Well, I'm just
My
going,
used car lot doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I got a complaint, which I haven't passed on to Stan yet, but
That's fine. Just pass it on the stand
all
and then we'll
those
discuss it.
vehicles over there,
Stan can
if
come
you
to me
took the
every day if he
recyclable
wants
ones,
to.
if you
I
took
have
all
no
the
problem with
recyclable
it.
ones and put them out back instead of
All the
putting them up
junk cars
front.
go all back. Anything that I don't own goes to the left, all the way up, and I have a holding area there for the stuff that I don't own yet. The used cars are there. You see the big tractor trailer truck. You see a boom truck there. Those are all cars that are for sale. You see a 4-car carrier that we just serviced. That is for sale. We sell about 75 cars a year. So all that stuff is for sale. We're not here to talk about what I got in my used car lot or everything else. I got everything right here. I have no violations today. 624 months, I got somebody that bitched 4 times. We'll call it 5. I think that's a pretty goddamn good track record.
One question I've got while you're still up there. How many licenses do you have up
About
there?
8.
What are they?
I have a junkyard license, graveyard, I have a used car lot, I have demolition, I have salvage, and I have, what else do I have? I have waste hauling, I have trash, I have the demolition for the transfer station license. That transfer station license costs $50,000 a year to maintain. So we have license for the water tests we do. So we have 8 to 10 different licenses that we abide by. I'm not asking you guys to get into all of that. I'm asking you to simply sign the recycling license so I can pull a part off a car when a customer comes through the door, and I don't have to worry about it being the state. Anybody that wants to file a complaint, I'm more than happy to meet with anybody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we can discuss it. That's not what we're here for. We gotta stick to what we're here for. Because I got a complaint about my used car lot, well, Aaron Carroll tells me that every other week.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that, I just... Scott?
Scott Logan. It was Sean, right?
I'm sorry?
Sean?
Yes, it is.
I just wanted to refer to you by your name. I apologize.
That's all right.
I live on 5 in Burnham, Range. I get all the trucks that go past my place all the time. I couldn't care less about the noise. It has no impact on me. I think I just want to clarify because it sounds like there's some confusion in here. The reason why we're talking about the recycling license, but we're also talking about used cars is because we're trying to determine whether the used cars are actually being recycled or if they're being sold as used cars. Is that right, Wade?
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure I was on the same page as everybody else. And then the other licenses, are they upheld by the state or are they upheld by the town?
Both.
Are any of those also up for renewal anytime in the near future? or
November.
November?
Yeah, we go for conditional use permit in November.
Okay, so some of the, I'm repeating some of what you're saying because
Yeah, no,
that
that's
way you don't
fine.
have to come back and forth. Some of the other licenses are going to be up for renewal in November later this year. And so it might be worth it for us to consider maybe planning out an actual hearing for your company for later in the year to talk about
Well, when I do
how all the different stuff overlaps and interacts. And then that way you can address concerns about like the visibility and you can address concerns about the used car lot. You can address concerns about noise and
when we come back to the board in November and December, we have a site walk. Could be 5 minutes, could be 5 hours. Dr. Farron's there, we got a whole bunch of stuff to go over. So we walk the whole property, we go over everything, we do everything that there is. Do you know how many cars drive up and down Route 5 in a year?
not in a year, but I know it's a lot. I like I said, I live on it. I'd
It's like 22.
say there's probably a
2,200,000.
couple of thousand every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you think that my little loader is making noise for my neighbor because they see me come in? They don't hear me come in, they see me come in.
I mean, I drove a dump truck over the summer. I know how much noise they make. Like I said, I live on 5. I hear the engine brakes going all the time. It has no impact on me. I couldn't care less
Tell
personally.
all my
I just-
drivers, I don't want to hear an engine brake, and I don't want to hear a tire squeal when we leave my driveway. I don't want to hear that, because there's no reason for that.
Sure, I get that. And again, my whole reason for coming up here was clarify, because it sounded like some people are talking about one thing and other people are talking about other things, and I think it's because there's overlap in it that I was looking for some clarification on.
Every one of the licenses I do is a separate license. I may be able to get some licenses, this is a recycling license, be able to sell parts that the state wants me to have. And this recycling license, I pay $500 or $250 a year, and it goes above and beyond what I'm supposed to do. I go above and beyond to make sure I get everything done.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
One more time, Merrill, that's it.
Mr. McLean mentioned I said something about gray. I am actually asking for black and white because that's why the town ends up in court. You have an appeal board that has a very specific multiple-page document that Mr. McLean could not give you verbatim material, but that tells you that what he's allowed to do on a Sunday. Number two is, I don't know how I received a copy of a notice of violation, so I think there is one that exists, and that would come into play if, under state rules, you cannot issue your approval to him if there's an active violation in place. And as far as complaints, there's more than 4, but I don't need to go beyond that. I'm just going to say there's more than 4, but I think it's really black and white. What's the paperwork say? That way you don't get into any of this trouble of later on, well, it was allowed and it shouldn't have been. And I believe that has to come every year before the board, even though in past years, people like Mr. Medici signed it without a board vote. That doesn't mean that it was right. And and Maine Municipal Association tells you, just because something's been done improperly at another time, doesn't mean that you continue the improper process. You're allowed to make your own decisions about what the proper process is. Thank you. I'll stop Harmon.
Sean Gerard again. I have no known violations as of today. And this is why we go through this. And this is why the people in the town of Limerick get frustrated about doing business in this town. It's because every time you come here, you got somebody that wants to stir up the shit and have all kinds of different things. It's a simple recycling license. It allows me to pull a part off a car. Come November, you guys can all come down and beat me to death again. And then every 2 years I come down and the planning board beats me to death again. This is a simple recycler's license. It allows me to pull a part off a car and do my job. It doesn't have anything to do with my other licenses. I got everything here. I got the hours of operation. Stan found them from 2014. It says I can work 7 days a week down there. I can run my dump trucks. I don't do that. 624 times in months, and I've had 4 or 5 violations with Wade's. You know, it's a little ridiculous to think I'm gonna come down here and fight this and put up with his crap every week.
Under your recycling license, does that take into consideration all the liquids and stuff you're dealing with?
It takes into consideration that I can pull a part off a car. That's what, it doesn't have anything to do with the used car lot, it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the
No, I
building.
know that, but if you're taking something apart, like a transmission, taking the transmission out, and you've got liquids coming out of there, is that part of this?
Yes, I guess you would call it, yeah. That I can take a part off a car, and take a transmission out of a car. But I have no violations on that either, Howard. You guys you don't have anything to back up your concerns and Mr. Farron's concerns. I have all my ducks in a row. This DEP comes down to see me, they come down to check my pads. We're gonna redo part of the pad this year, it's down back. And the recycling license is for me to pull parts, that's what I do. Pull parts and sell them. This board is going above and beyond to where they wanna go, where we're fishing for. And if you get your paperwork from Stan, it says I can work 6 days a week, 6 to 6. That's the hours. I chose to be out 7 to 2 on Saturday. And I can come and go with a dump truck, with gravel and haul my gravel out. How messed up is that? How many times have you heard I was there with my dump truck hauling gravel? None. Because I don't do it. I don't do it to piss off my neighbors. 20 years ago, I used to fight with my neighbor. Some neighbors I will fight with, some I won't. But I'm not doing anything at CIA Salvage to mess with anybody or to upset anybody or to make anybody upset with me. I do everything I'm told, and when there's somebody, Stan comes to me, I even called Stan and said, Stan, I have to go to the shop. I'm calling you to tell you. One of the complaints, my neighbor saw the trash truck come in. At 11 o'clock, the trash truck went out at night. The next morning, 6 o'clock, they were on the porch. They saw the trash truck. That's how they know I have a violation. Not because I'm down there banging fucking banging rocks in the dump truck. It just frustrates me because I'm going through all of this on my Rangy property, and now I gotta come down here and deal with this down here too. And I apologize.
You guys have any other questions? Let's cut this short here. We got other stuff to do.
Short, but I mean, it's important because, like I said, being on the appeals board. So what I'd like to ask you guys, I've got a thing here that came Friday night from Stan saying I sent everybody, or everyone technically, an email that the NOV, notice of violation, was resolved. Did you guys get that? All right, so I don't know who did or who didn't, but,
I personally haven't seen it, but
okay. Well, Wade just
that's
said.
not to say that I didn't get it.
No,
okay?
I'm just saying,
This
well,
one here from Stan, notice of violation been revoked, rescinded or whatever.
I got that today.
okay, so.
We got it at 4 o'clock today.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, Friday, he just sent it, just saying, I sent everyone an email that it was resolved, so. I think we gotta throw that out, I guess, I don't know.
I followed up on that email this afternoon and asked him
Yeah, how it
he was
resolved.
revoking it. I said, well, I don't even know what the original says.
Right, no, and that's
And I
fine.
didn't get that before the meeting
But
tonight.
sitting
so-
here, we keep bringing up, well, there's
Yeah, well-
violation, but that's why I had to go back through this saying, all right, so there's no violation at this very minute at 7:30 or something, so.
Okay. Any comments, guys? Any comments? Do I hear a motion to accept this? John?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Did John have something to say? Okay.
Here, a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you, Jim.
Yep. Okay, can you go and take a copy of that? Can you go and take a copy of that? Okay, we'll just wait a couple minutes and you can get a copy of that, and then we'll go on with the meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for answering my question, Sean.
Good to speak up.
I said thanks for answering my questions.
Anytime, I mean, you're welcome to call me, give me my phone number, don't see me in either one of my yards. 24/7, I have nothing to hide.
Wouldn't bother you that much.
Well, I know, but I have a young lady that lives on Rangy Road, and she's listening to Dr. Farron's stuff, and Mrs. Farron's stuff, and I have a letter stating from a realtor that what I do has no adverse effect on property values, because the property values are going up and up and up, and it's on, all about Limerick, and there's a whole spiel about what I do and how I'm killing the town and everything else. And I told the two people that looked at it, I said, come see me. I'll buy you a coffee, you can sit down and we can go over it, you can walk the yard anytime you want, unannounced, anytime, I have no problem with it.
The neighbor that you're getting the complaints from, have you had a chance to
Yeah.
talk to her or him or whoever?
Well, she just moved in 2 years ago. She moved into her grandmother, she bought her grandmother's house, so it's kinda hard to make a deal with them, because they've been part of the father's family, which hates me anyway. If I didn't have the junkyard, Chuck and I would be best buddies. You know, it would be, but because I have the junkyard, Chuck doesn't like it. But Chuck has the same thing, he has excavators, dump trucks, roll-off cans, works out of his house, his contract, his gravel pits. And I mean, when you see those trucks go up and down Route 5, you hear the Jake brakes and all of that, you hear all of that, everybody does. And it's just not me. There's a certain truck, I can tell you when he's coming, it comes every day. It's got 1,100 horse motor in it, the Jake brake, it'll rattle my windows in my building.
Is that the tow truck?
No, it's a flatbed.
Uh,
I
There's
don't
a
know
tow
what
truck went by today, it was louder than anything I've heard ever.
Yeah, that's not anything coming from me, my trucks are all, Mass and Peterbilt's. And so you're not giving any of mine, because I don't put up with anything. Want my number?
Yeah, actually.
You can. Whereabouts are you on 5?
Right there at Rangy. The intersection, you know, the house that used to have all the lawnmowers and,
The white one?
campers and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought that in October.
So you're next to Taco. Taco's behind you.
Oh, I don't know all their names yet.
Long Avocado. Yeah.
I'm on the Burnham side though.
Oh, so you're the big farmhouse down, and towards you.
No,
He's right on the corner.
Towards you though, right?
yeah, towards
Yeah.
them.
As you turn
Oh,
the,
the one right on the corner where we cut the trees down.
yes.
Yeah. So it's shown is 651-2205. Thanks. In that, call me.
Wouldn't take it, it was
Got a cup of coffee and I was driving from McCoy last year.
There you go, Sean.
Yeah, down in Alfred. So I'm gonna put a
Sean.
ball chain on it. Once again, I'm sorry to get upset with the board. I'm sorry that I have to bring you through this. But we have a lot of outside friction that comes in on this all the time. We are in compliance. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate the job that you have to do here. Thank you.
Okay, going forward here. Everybody looked at the warrant? So your motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, minutes?
Oh, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
No one.
Okay, no announcements. There is, in way of announcements, even though we haven't done it formally tonight, just so everybody knows, we start interviews tomorrow for the town clerk, tax collector, and also for the select board administrator assistant. And we'll have an interviews tomorrow from 1 o'clock on, and also next Tuesday from 1 to, I think it's 4. So, which is being, which you, we've got 11 applicants. And so hopefully we'll have a decision by the end of, middle of next week, who's gonna do what. But so far it looks, we've got some real good applicants. So I feel pretty confident we're gonna fill those positions. Okay?
Dee Dee has put together a schedule of applicants to be interviewed. So if anyone is inquiring, they may want to reach out to Dee Dee to verify their schedule if they are an applicant to be interviewed.
Just so everybody knows that the people that are gonna be interviewing are gonna be Judy, Dee Dee, myself, and I don't know if you guys are available or not.
Yes, I'll be available.
But the select board's supposed to be on, and that's it. Okay, going on, we don't have any department reports tonight. Hearing of citizens. John?
I wanted to ask real quick about finishing up the pickleball court. It needs to be painted, striped, and have the nets put up. So if the board is willing to fund the paint and the striping, we can get it painted by volunteers, and we can have the nets put up by volunteers. We'd have to pay for the paint and have somebody come in and stripe it. You're looking at about $1,500 left to finish it and get it up and running. We have,
What's your cost?
what's that?
I know what you got left, but what's your cost?
What's my cost?
What's the cost of doing it?
Around $1,500. You're looking at about $800 for the paint, for just the paint for the surface. And then you're gonna pay somebody $600 or $700 to stripe it. So, I mean, if the town would, I mean, there's nobody's like doing this as a contract. I mean, other than the person that would have to stripe it. But there's 2 or 3 people that'll do it for that kind of money. So if you are willing to buy, the paint can be bought on Amazon. You need about 20 gallons. 4 or 5 gallon buckets, and they're $180 a bucket, roughly. So you need to buy 4 of those. I can get volunteers to paint it. Once it's painted, they can stripe it, and then we can bolt the nets in. We already have all the signage to go up. It would get it done and usable.
You say volunteers to paint it, John. Prepping the surface, putting the paint down, verifying that these people that are gonna apply the paint to the surface, what background, how are we safeguarding ourselves that these people know what they're doing, and next year, when the winter comes, the spring comes, the paint ain't going away with the winter snow?
So I'm volunteering to do it with my own people. We've done them before. There are some saw cuts that were put in originally in those have some weeds, so that needs to all be cleaned out. All the weeds cleaned out of that. Those saw cuts need to be sealed with something flexible. And then the product is guaranteed. I mean, I don't think anybody can guarantee it will be prepped properly and put down properly. And the product is made for concrete, and it's made for outdoors, and it's made for winter. Does that mean that it's never going to peel? I'm not going to stand here and tell you that, but it will be done properly. It's not just going to be the paint thrown down. And then we'd bring in a company to stripe it so it's done professionally and the sizing is all done right. And then bolting the nets down is pretty basic into the concrete. But
So
I'm going to oversee it and have some of my own people that work for me do it.
So
My insurance certificate's on file with the town already, so if anything happened to anybody down there, we're covered.
So are we going to be surprised with an additional cost for the chemical to remove the grass, the weed killer and the seed filler? I mean, I just want to make sure that if we're buying paint, we're getting what we pay for, and we're not going to get another bill for $100 down the road, whatever,
There'll be, if you buy the paint and you authorize me to do it, here on camera, there will be no other bill.
Okay.
It'll be prepped right, and it'll be painted properly.
Thank you.
And there's no charge for any of the labor, any of that. And to bolt the nets down, the only bill you will see would be from Amazon for the paint, which anybody can order for the town, and the company to stripe it.
Okay, I would,
Out of rec. The money for that would come out of rec.
Yes.
No. There's professionals that stripe it, so it's
decision on this.
perfect. We don't stripe
I'd like
it.
to wait till we,
I think we'll put off on the decision on this till next week when the other two members are here,
Okay?
okay?
Yeah.
Just in the meantime, John, can you get us something in writing?
I'll print off what needs to be ordered from Amazon, and I'll get a couple people to give you a quote on the striping.
But if you get the tents, the
The nets,
nets,
what about
have you got them?
them? You have them, the town has them. Town already bought
Oh, so the
them.
one,
Those
no.
are purchased.
Okay,
They should be in the building down there.
okay.
They were bought last year.
Now the poles and everything to support them?
The whole system is, their
Yes.
crank systems, everything, it should be in the building at the ball field.
Okay. Okay, any other hearing of citizens? Cheryl? Oops, Sean?
This has to be notarized.
Okay, that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow then.
I'm sorry?
I'll
I can
get
pick it
to,
up tomorrow, that's fine, but it does have to be notarized.
oh Christ, okay. Cheryl?
A couple weeks ago, the subject was brought up about putting jobs out for bid, okay? Has the board, and something was said about the board was going to go around with the road commissioner to check out how many bad trees that we have, or dangerous trees that need to be, has that been done? And how many trees are out there that need to be come down?
I put an email out to Ricky to find out how many trees he had to deal with. I met with a tree company before I went on vacation, and because some of them are going to require a crane, this company was the same ones I got a quote for doing the ones up in the cemetery that, it's touchy getting them down so we don't break any stones and things like that. So I'm waiting for Ricky, and then looking around. other areas. One concern I have, and I've got to talk to Ann Bushy on it, is the trees. If you go down Route 5, just beyond Cody's, you'll see there's a bunch of ash trees that are on a wall.
Yep.
Well, that's a problem. And the trouble is, there's no easy way to take those down right there, because if they go one way, they're gonna hit stones. They go the other way, they're gonna be right across Route 5.
Now, does state have to be
And I don't-
involved in that?
I don't know who owns what there,
Oh, okay.
so.
No, last night, that was said that you guys were gonna go together and get a total, and
Well, that's
then,
just it. The fellow that we talked to, that was basically the low bidder on those other ones up in the cemetery, when he came back again last weekend, and he said that if he comes up here and he's gonna bring the crane, he would like, if we've got some other ones, to make it worth his while. Not that we're gonna get a big bargain out of it, but
Right.
probably be less than what he would normally come up just for one.
oh, yeah, yeah. Well, that was the thing of it, to
So
get
what
them
we're
all
working on
done.
is just that I've got to
Yeah.
find out from Ricky if he's got some situations going to need the crane, so we'll make it worth our while and hopefully
So
get a
this
better
will be
bang
going
for the
out to
buck.
bid?
Yes.
The total will be
Well-
going out to bid?
We basically went out and got bids already. But depending on what we run against, we'll probably have to go out again.
Okay. And then the other subject was sweeping. Have you made a decision whether they're gonna just get the
That's-
one that takes it and hauls it off and be done?
Ricky's not here to answer that tonight,
Okay.
so.
So, but nothing's been done, started about
aware
it? Okay. Plow contracts, are they still in the process of being done?
Those, we haven't basically finalized the contracts yesterday.
Oh, they're all finalized, ready to go to
Well, no, there's some wording that's got to be changed.
Oh.
And then it's got to be reviewed by the attorney.
Yeah. Now, is it gonna go to the attorney or the MMA?
MMA,
They don't do that.
see, the thing, the big misconception there is MMA will give you their opinion, but if something happens, they could care less.
Oh.
They don't defend any town. That's why
Good,
you
are
have
they?
to have, they'll give you their opinion, which is their opinion, that's it.
Okay, so those three will be ongoing, okay. The website, I was looking for the agenda tonight, earlier, and it wasn't there, so I was just kind of glancing around. And I have a request, I don't know who does the website or whatever, but the listing of the selectmen need to be done over. The chairman should be first, the co-chair, and so forth down the line. Just a request.
Well, all of this, once we get these new people in place,
Well, you have five
we
in
will see,
place.
we will see those
You
changes.
have five in place.
No, Howard's
No,
referring
I'm
to...
talking about support
admin.
staff.
Oh, to who does the web?
Right. I
Okay.
mean, you asked me to change something on the website,
no, I'm
you're
not
gonna have a
asking you.
mess, I'll tell you right now.
Whoever puts it on. Okay, thank you.
Anybody? Wendy?
So as you know, I've been sitting in with Julie and to help her with what's going on in the accounting world. And, I've gone through all the accounts, all the operational expense accounts and the operational revenues, and those are fine. The errors or the problems are in the capital accounts. And her and I were talking, and I said, I believe you may have a structural issue here or a mapping issue, meaning going from the desktop trio to a web-based the web-based could restrict some things happening properly. And because we've gone through everything, and I was in the room when she was calling Trio to close the books out. Well, my understanding is once you close the books out, that should move your expenses and your revenues and zero them out. Well, I don't see that happening. And when we move forward, well, of course, we don't have 25 done yet, and now we're into 26. So I said to her, I said, I think that maybe if we could have a sandbox thing to her and I to play with, to see how it actually works and it won't affect the live, and to see, also to ask questions of them, of Harris, ask questions such as, when you close the books, if something gets posted in the year before, does that reopen the books automatically? Does that cause issues going forward with your balances? Are there actual mapping issues with the general ledger itself that's causing some of this? And the training that happened when you transitioned, I don't think that she got what she needed or what she wanted. And I think that should be afforded to her, and it should be afforded through the company itself, as far as I'm concerned. They can either do it through Zoom, they can come here, all those different things. But, and I found a town that did have issues themselves with the Trio software, and it was Pittsfield, and that they had ongoing problems with their transition over. So, doesn't mean it's not happening here. And so I would like, I'm really into really helping her get into a normal place.
Well, you mentioned about the software, when they went to the web-based,
Yep,
Trio didn't realize until there was our town, because I called Trio when I suspected something was going wrong,
yep,
and they admitted that through what I was asking and what another couple towns were asking, that they had a problem.
Yeah.
And they didn't know it.
yeah. And I think that we may have that problem here. You know, we're both accepting of this. There's human error, and there's also software errors. And so I think it's a combination of things, long-standing Trio system information, that the old system probably allowed you to do things that you weren't supposed to do, and now the web-based could be more restrictive of what you can do, but you may be trying to force it to do these things too. And the capital accounts, going through them, there are some that are still off, but again, it's to trail it all the way over to 2026 is hard because we don't have 2025 done. And then today you would ask me about the auditor. I would go ahead and still get the auditor because those, you can still look at those things and maybe they'll be helpful in that. And I had spoke to one of Julie's friends that's an auditor, and she sent him the information. I said, well, let's move forward to 25. You have to report, according to them or him, that you have to I was looking at 2024, the report has to say 2025, the balances get moved forward. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense to me. And so I think that if we can get a hold of Harris and get it straightened out.
Now, the trouble is, you're dealing with a big company.
Yeah, I know.
And you got to take their little tickets and play that little game.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Right, you're going to have to do that, and you should, at the same time, still get your auditor. Or if there's a manual that we can get to review, to see, you know, if there's an account structure issue that goes from one platform to the next platform, because you got to get it fixed.
Supposedly, they've got a training sessions online. I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to Trio one other time, one of the fellows told me
Yeah.
that they had trainings.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's taking what, so, at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I'll get with her, you know, we've been working close together on this to get her, you know, in the right direction. You know, it's not all human error, it's partially software error,
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, thanks for helping her.
Yep. So I'll continue to do that, and we'll try to get, she has a call into them, and maybe we can get in on their website and figure out what to do.
I expect to hear back. I called that accountant twice today, just to make sure that he got my information, because I sent him all the audits and stuff, well, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And if it, you know, some of the research I've done, you know, I've worked for many financial institutions, and I've gone through a lot of conversions of systems. And even if it is the same place, they do change things. They change how the structure, they can change the structure of the general ledger, they can change the structure of how to take a loan payment, you know, things like that. So,
And the funny part about it, they don't tell you.
no, you find out the hard way.
I found that out. We
And this is the
bought,
hard way.
last software we bought at the golf course, they changed it like a month later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll keep working with her and see, you know, we'll come across something.
Great, thanks. Okay, anybody else? Hearing citizens. Okay, we have nothing on, for old business, legal accounts, parking lot paving update. I've got to look and see what we, since I wasn't here, what we've got for money to deal with on that. A Deep Vale update, Gail?
Good evening. Gail Libby, Revitalization Committee. The Deep Vale project started today on Emery Corner Road. Dearborn is in town. We've put together a notice that will be mailed probably tomorrow to the target area customers, telling them what's going to be going on for the next few weeks. Dearborn Brothers Construction of Buxton, Maine, is our contractor, and they will be replacing on Emery Corner Road sewer lines with concurrent work on water line replacement. They're going to hook up temporary water, so Thirsty Turf will be in town, and they'll be talking to each of the property owners to hook up temporary water, because it's going to be shut off in that area. So they're going to, on Emery Corner Road, they're going to install 1,425 linear feet of new water main, a fire hydrant, and 20 service connections. The new 12-inch water main will replace an undersized 6-inch cast iron pipe that is 120 years old. This section is part of the transmission main from the primary well source on Levitt Brook in the town of Limerick for the distribution system. This section of the distribution system feeds the entire town. So again, it's well over 100 years old, and it's a very small pipe. So we're expecting a lot of good things to happen. Better pressure, hopefully better quality water. We'll see. Okay, what that all brings. On Dirigo Engineering of Fairfield also has designed this to the sewer lines to be added on if they want to at some point, the water and sewer district. So they'll be able to hook on and extend that down Emery Corner Road, because it only goes around the corner by the Preventure home. On Watson Hill, they're going to install 500 feet of new water main, 2 service connections, a hydrant that our fire chief, our former fire chief asked for, and a 2-inch connector to Mulberry Lane. Funding for the Deep Vale project is provided by a CDBG Community Development Block Grant with 25% matching funds from the town. ARPA funds are being used for part of that match. The cost is $1.3 million, it's estimated to be, and the duration is probably going to be about 12 weeks, hopefully less if the weather helps us out. There will be, we want you to know that there's going to be intermittent disruptions of traffic on Emery Corner Road and Watson Hill as this so you're going to have to stop and start in single lanes, etc. Okay, updates on the project will be on the town website and on Facebook. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl?
Listening to the money part of it there, I didn't realize that, but the town is in for 25% of this?
Yes, it always is, CDBG, any matching, any funds like
The taxpayers are paying 25% of it.
They're paying 12.5% because ARPA is paying 12.5%.
Oh, Okay, I didn't think the town was in for any of it. I know, but every time I ask a question about, is the town paying for the water district, everybody tells me, oh, no, it's a grant, the taxpayers are not paying for it. But then, when everything's all signed, we are.
Okay,
Let me answer that. We tell people, okay, that there's a match. We always do. It's right in the articles, okay? And we have public hearings and discuss it, and people can ask all the questions they want about any project. Okay, that's normal operating procedure for these grants. Thank you.
okay. Systems Administrator, don't have anything on that. New auditing firm, I'm still waiting for them to get back, which I hope it's going to be in the next couple of days so we can get this all straightened out. We don't have anyone yet for rec director. And there's nothing changed on the June ballot that I'm aware of. Are you? Anybody? What?
Can I ask? I sent an email regarding the residual Holland bill, and so I want to make sure if we start putting bills in, we can use that money. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Next one, the YCS. I'm awful on acronyms. What's that? You know? Nope. Well, I guess we're gonna have to bypass that one tonight then.
It's at $75,000.
It's the grant for the,
Coming in.
Oh, okay, that's the one Alicia was working on then. Okay, tax acquired properties. I don't have any information on that yet. I know that's being worked on, but. Okay, Brick Town Hall use policy. That's there again. I'm not trying to kick the can down the road, but we've got two other people we ought to have here when we talk about that. Unfortunately, this is vacation time. Okay. Do we want to set up a time for next one, the meeting with the abutters at Division Road? That probably ought to be, I hate to say it, but probably ought to be on a weekend. I don't think we want to have it here. You got any thoughts on it?
well, it depends how many of us there we have to have it. Has to be televised if it's a meeting.
But that was, I think that was more just to clear the air and find out with everybody else. I don't know if that's gonna,
I mean, if a couple of us went down and met with them, then I don't think there'd be an issue there.
I don't
but
either.
I do know we got some emails from Stan today of they're cleaning it out, and they were supposed to make sure that everything was picked up after they got done. I know that they brought some trash out of the house, and I do know that Stan told them that all had to be cleaned up immediately.
Yeah. Stan told me today that they had rented a U-Haul, and as of today, they were starting to remove personal property from inside of the building to a U-Haul. My bad, I didn't think to ask Stan if he had gave them a timeline in which they would be removing that U-Haul from the property. I think we need to talk to Stan and find out what his expectations are with those people when they leave. And when we meet with the abutters, I would like to meet with them on the said property. So we're all on the same page
Yeah,
after they leave.
I agree. It's one thing to sit here and talk about. I haven't been
Talk
down.
about it.
I drove by it, but I haven't been in the property or anything.
Campers that are down there yet?
The camper was there as of Tomorrow's Tuesday. As of last Tuesday, it was still there.
We went down and did some cleaning, I couldn't
Yeah.
do that. I donated part of my time, we got paid for some of the trash, and I donated $600 of labor and time to clean that up. If the board would like, I'll take the campers out of there if we get approval for around $2,000.
Trouble is, Sean, it's,
I know it's a mess.
well, it's not only a mess, but it's also private property.
Yeah, but once you clean it
And-
up, then the neighborhood will be yours.
I,
Or if you could get them to agree to it.
How, you missed it last week, Lori was still trying to get hold of Lori. The parents were playing contact.
well, I talked to Lori, and I know she was dealing with that. And from what she told me was I guess the finance company is out in the Midwest somewhere, and the attorney that they supposedly had in this area is no longer. So it's, you what?
Didn't she say he was in Connecticut?
I don't know, but it's,
When we were down there cleaning up the yard and all the trash by the road, he said he could get rid of the campus, but he didn't have no money.
I don't know, it's, Joanne,
Didn't Stan say that the bank is not foreclosed yet? It hasn't
Yep.
been foreclosed on.
it was in the courts, and then I guess they dropped it, or whatever.
So where does that leave the town?
Well, that's what Lori, before she went on vacation, was searching and seeing what the situation was at the courts. But now I guess it's got to go back, and we've got to find out where this mortgage company is, and if we get head to it, call the CEO and say, hey, let's get this thing done. Because it's just a mess. I'm amazed that they let them go 6 years and they didn't throw them out on their ears and sell the place.
I don't think that's unusual because with Steve Camp's house, the same thing happened. It was years.
Yeah.
So Sean, glad you're here. On that camper, how does that work with that being titled?
You don't need, they're both old enough, you don't need a title.
Okay,
Is the little round tent thing still there?
right, yeah, it was.
Yeah. I'd bring in a little, either a trailer or an excavator, and I'd punch it up, put it in the can.
So with, like, again, I'm thinking a camper, I mean, I have campers, had campers,
Yeah, punch it up and put it in the can, and you pay to get rid of it.
but as far as who owns the camper being a vehicle and title and registration and all, I just don't understand.
Somebody
Right,
down the road must have that, but I mean, we deal with campers, we bring in 5 to 7 a week. So there's people out there that, get them, and they buy a piece of property that's foreclosed on. Just like if somebody buys that property that's foreclosed on, they'll have to get rid of the campus to satisfy you guys.
yeah, so it's not like a vehicle that you gotta have a clear title to and all that business.
The fact of the matter, somebody owns it. And for the town to
He
go
wanted to
in,
get rid of them, so if you talk to the guy that was, the veteran there, if you talk to him, he would get rid of them, just who's gonna pay for it? Town's got plenty of money.
huh?
So the town's got plenty of money.
Yeah, but we're not gonna spend any more on it.
I know, but how much have we already spent today down there?
We've got enough into that already between legal fees and everything else.
Campus and get the yard done. Then you can board up the buildings, put special screws in it, and leave it till the bank takes over.
That's all, as far as I'm concerned, that's all legal. The town should not be touching that.
I agree, but you don't want the neighbors to see the mess in the yard either.
Right,
I took 6,800 pounds of trash out of that yard.
I know, and I mean, I feel bad for the neighbors,
Yeah.
but it's a case where I think it all goes back to the mortgage company, saying,
It does.
They've-
Eventually, the mortgage company will take and come out and clean it up, mow the lawn, take care of it.
don't hold your breath. Look what we've gone through so far.
I know, well, you're talking 6 to 8 years. I mean, some of the foreclosures that we come into, 8, 10 years before they do it. But I mean, if you said, look, we're invested this far, he signs off on the trailers, whether it's me or road commissioner or anybody else is there and cleans them up, gets them out of there.
If he personally wants to tell you to remove them, and you can do whatever you want with them, that's between you and him. But for the town to say, Sean, get those out of there, he can
Go
come
down and
back
ask
to
him.
us.
What I'm saying is go down and ask him. You guys pick up the bill.
We're not gonna pick up the bill for
I
that.
picked up the bill for how many tens of thousands?
Yeah, and we've also got a lien on the property for it.
Yes, but a lien on the property would be easier than it would be to, you're not, I mean, you tear down that whole building, my bid was $35,000.
Picking up trash is one thing, but when you've got something that's got wheels on it, or a
You can haul it
structure,
off, but somebody has to pay for it, it's demo.
but who owns it is the thing.
You can go down there and Stan can run the VIN number, he can tell you who owns it.
But the town should not be involved in this.
I agree.
Cleaning up is one thing, because we can recover our costs on that because it's an unhealthy situation. But when you've got a trailer and somebody hauls it off, and they said, oh, the town gave it to us, now we're liable.
No, the town can't give it to you, you gotta go down and see whoever is,
So
if it's
that's
on his
between,
property,
you want to get down there and talk to him, be my guest.
I don't want to buy it,
Okay, then,
unless you want to pay to get rid of it. You want to pay to get rid of it, I'll go punch it up, put it in the trailer.
no, we're not going to pay. I say that, I mean, I'm speaking probably out of turn, but we spend enough down there. I think we spend more than what we should, but anyway.
So that goes back to my original comment, was there's got to be some kind of a document that he signed stating that he has given that trailer to the town. Then we could,
Correct. Yeah.
but
It could be given, or if there's a plate on it, Stan can run the plate. If there's a VIN number, they can run the VIN number. We just had, last fall, we had, not the Rangers, what we call game wardens come in. They brought in six boats that were in the woods. So there were 6 different boats they brought in because somebody just said the hell with it, dumped them all in the field. They bring them in, they pay for them. It's an abandoned vehicle.
right.
Well, I think the easiest way for the town is just say, okay, here's the guy's name and telephone number, you call him and do whatever you want, and we're out of it.
I agree, but I'm not gonna take $2,000 more out of my pocket. I took $600 out of it to clean up his yard because I was there and I was obligated. But that's another day.
We got other things to do
I agree.
than that. I think we spend way too much time on this already.
It's got an obligation to the neighbors.
Well, that's just it. I feel sorry for the neighbors, but,
And the other thing, I think
And
you
you're
take the
dealing
trailer
with-
out,
and
you
you're-
get back 2 more next
well, the
week.
big thing there is you're dealing with a court system, and the lawyers are gonna just milk that till
Yeah,
cows come home, and there's no getting around it.
they could, you take 2 out, you could bring 2 in after that as well.
Yeah.
You can do anything about it.
Okay, going on here. We already talked about the interviews for tomorrow and then the new business. We don't have any,
Dee Dee's here.
okay,
This is not the warrant.
okay.
Warrant that has
You
to
wanna
be
get up?
Friday.
I know. I heard it on the TV. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Warrant is due on Friday.
I know.
Okay. Do you guys need help with it? Or are you good?
To be very honest with you, I just got it, so I gotta read it.
Okay.
And I wasn't obviously here last week, so I'm playing catch-up.
I'll teach you to take a vacation.
Plus, I've got all those interviews that I gotta read.
All right. I was just making sure you guys, if you need help, need me to type it out or whatever, let me know. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I wanted.
Okay. We don't have any other, no other appointments, I don't think, to come in?
No, no resignations.
Nope. Discussion, any agenda items, any public input? Gail?
I have a question. When a CDBG project is in motion, any administration copies or anything like that is borne by the town. It's right in their rules. I would bring copies to Alicia to make. I need some copies, and how can I get them?
What do you mean, how can
Who,
you get
who
it?
makes them for me?
Almost anybody could right now. We're in limbo here.
No, Brady's working.
Yeah, no,
No, Brady's working.
no, he's, Brady's got his hands full. He's working a job, plus he's been
He's-
helping out since Alicia left, so I don't think that's appropriate to hand it.
No, I don't either think that we need to burden Mr. Connors with any more. I mean, he's got a lot on his plate.
Dottie
I can make copies at my home, but I'm going to charge you.
No,
No.
no, there's no need of that.
Okay. Let me know, because I need them.
When's the deadline you need those, Gail?
I need them throughout the project, okay?
Oh,
Because
well.
we're telling people what's going on. We alert them, those things are going on, and sometimes they're mailed and I need stamps. I would get them from Alicia. Some of the property owners are not in Limerick. Can you do some tomorrow?
Dottie on my mother one, she's,
Okay,
if they're in
we'll
the office.
leave it at that then.
Joanne?
and
Joanne
Dottie.
will make copies for me? Okay, thank you.
Joanne is our planning board secretary, and so if you would take that responsibility, Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You must have seen us talking.
Yeah, Sean Mackey, Division Road. You guys have promised us from the beginning you would take care of it, and I just watched you on TV basically say to everybody, it's our problem now. I just sent you guys pictures today. Garbage everywhere. It's all through the woods. You know,
Just saw pictures of it a few
when
minutes
are
ago.
we going to do something about this, okay? I mean, I understand the guy's a disabled veteran, but when you're cooking meth and you're doing drugs and you do it on yourself, this guy don't feel bad. Did many years in the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm a veteran. I did many years keeping that garbage off the streets. To me right now, you guys are a bunch of snakes up there. Because everything that you guys have said to us, blowing smoke up our asses. You know, you have promised us you would, if you don't want to tear it down, at least clean it up. I mean, Stan in meetings, I gotta get my blood pressure down here a little bit. I'm about ready to have a fucking heart attack up here. I'm so mad. The original complaint was human feces and drug manufacturing stuff in the garbage. The original complaint come from the trash people. Stan has determined that the cover it and the camper are full of bags of unknown origins. He assumes it's human waste because they haven't had running water in years, no electricity. So we have a huge cover it outside full of it. We got a camper full of it. He determined everything in that place and the house is a biohazard, but we're still going to let them in there to clean up and get their treasures or whatever you want to call it out of the house. You know, it's been almost a year we've been dealing with this. You know, like Sean was just saying, you guys paid to have 6,700 pounds of garbage cleaned out of the yard. We can't even let our kids go out and play because we don't know what's going to come about. I sent Stan pictures this winter of some guy that walked in. I was outside with my son riding a snowmobile. I went and confronted the guy. I said, "What are you doing in the neighborhood?" He said, "I'm here to visit." I said, "No, what are you here in the neighborhood for?" "Here to score drugs." I told him, "Get the fuck out of the neighborhood. Don't come back."
Kind of curb your language, please.
Sean was swearing earlier when you guys were giving him a runaround too. You know, we've had enough. You know, I don't have as big a rat problem at my house because I've taken measures to mitigate them. Chad's a little bit closer. He's having a real bad rat problem. But you guys have made empty promises. Stan makes empty promises, and then we're going to keep letting them go in and put their garbage outside.
Well, what's going on right now with them moving the material that they've got out of there? Once they get that out, that's a step in the right direction. The big problem, I think you probably heard it if you were listening, is the ownership of that. Now, they supposedly foreclosed on that 6 years ago.
He hasn't paid a mortgage payment on that place in 7 years.
Okay,
And it's a VA mortgage, so the VA has paid the mortgage. The mortgage company doesn't care. They got nothing invested, they've been paid out. But you know how the US government works. So nobody on the Veterans Administration side is doing anything about getting their money back. So they're letting, essentially, Joe and Angie are squatters in that house. They're nothing but squatters. They're not paying a bill. They haven't, according to Stan, there's a $10,000 electric bill and $30,000 to Lake Arrowhead that's due on that house. They dug up the water main. They busted into the water and stole water from Arrowhead. A bunch of criminals. They've been cooking drugs there. The state police, through Stan's admission at the public hearing, that is nothing more than a stash and drug house, and they wouldn't be surprised if they have to respond there to overdoses. It comes back to, Brady on the board, and he's been in there because they had to pump Joe right full of Narcan. We just want the situation resolved so we can have a neighborhood where we don't have that beside us. I don't care if the house is torn down. I don't care if the house is rebuilt. I just want it cleaned up so there's not garbage in the yard. I sent you pictures. There's trash bags all over the deck. They're all over the ground. Now the rodents, crows, it's everywhere. I don't think it's a big ask as a law-abiding, hard-working taxpayer of the town to do something about that house.
but I was mentioning a little while ago, the trouble is right now is getting hold of that mortgage company and getting an understanding with them that that's either got to be torn down or sold, period, so we can get this thing taken care of.
Yeah, but then it comes
Because we
down
don't
to...
want this to keep going on and on and on. I realize you've been waiting a year for this, but we've had the legal system involved in it, and
You have a town lawyer that's squirrely as hell. He'll say one thing, and Stan will put it out in an email, and then 4 days later, he totally contradicts himself. I mean, he's a fantastic lawyer because they're spineless as shit, and it shows. Because he'll say one thing, 2 days later, he'll say another thing, and then a week later, when we call him out on a situation again, he says something totally different. So no wonder nothing's getting done. You got a town attorney that can't figure out what side his ass is and can't get his head out of it.
Did you say the VA, it's a VA loan?
It's a VA loan.
So is that why the bank won't foreclose on it?
The bank...
Being paid to the VA, that's something to look into?
you don't know because you can't get hold of the company. We're
Call
trying.
VA. I
This is
don't
the
know.
first I've heard that
I
he was.
know, that's what my ears perked up. No, maybe they can straighten out.
That's like my house. I'm a veteran. My house is a VA loan. If I default on my house, the Veterans Administration will pay Wells Fargo what I owe on that house. It's a guaranteed loan.
Do you have
They had
information?
they had this in court, from what I've been told, and then all of a sudden, it hadn't been acted on for months,
Well, the
which I
bank,
can't believe that happened.
the bank don't care because the bank's been paid. So now it falls on the federal government and the VA. The VA needs to take possession of the house, I would assume, because the VA is the one who
What's the case of,
paid-
who's
paid
got
it off.
Whose name's on the mortgage?
it should be Joe French on the mortgage.
As far as the financing or anything of that.
The last time I looked online, using all the information you can get off the web, it was Joe and his first wife who has passed.
No, but I'm talking about the mortgage company, if there is a mortgage outstanding on that.
There shouldn't be any mortgage outstanding on it.
Well, I don't know that.
According to the realtor, there's no mortgage outstanding on it. And they think they can get 300 grand for it. I mean, maybe if it wasn't Stan's admission, there's probably 70,000 pounds of better garbage inside that house. He said it's floor to ceiling, every single room with paths to the back. can't get into the basement because it's completely full, and you can't get upstairs because that's completely full, and that's a big house. So to me, that's a lot of trash. Just what pissed me off was when I get read it before in the lawyer's thing, and then your admission throwing the buck on us after you guys made endless promises.
Well, everything was done in good faith, I know that much. But there's always a downside too. And with this one, it's a legal issue. And the question is, how far do we go on this? But I also understand that you folks have got a life to live there, and it's not a good situation. But
I've lived in my house for 20 years, and I've dealt with at least 15 years worth of bullshit from that house. Joe with his first wife, they'd get all liquored up, start hollering at each other, whatever. But then there's a police report, if you dig back in on it, they've started shooting guns at each other. The house is peppered with bullet holes in the side. Then, not long after that, Joe gets all liquored up and he smashes her in the face with an axe and tries killing her. He went to jail for a long time after that. She passed not too long after he got out of jail. Then he brings the meth head into the neighborhood and they start cooking up dope. It's been enough. I mean, I call the state police when there's drug deals going on right out front of my house. I've got pictures of the car.
yeah,
State police wouldn't
that's
even come.
behind you right now.
It's the same house. It's the same situation. We still have weird cars come in and out of the neighborhood because that's a known drug house. So I'm trying to get the point across to you guys is until something gets done with that house, we can't allow our children to be outside because we don't know what's coming in the neighborhood. People always come and go and they'll slow down by that house because they're coming in there to score a fix. And until something is done, get rid of the camper, get rid of the cover it, something to clean it up around there to make it so it doesn't look like it's the same drug house. Then maybe our neighborhood, the little old ladies that came to the meeting at the fire department, they don't even walk by anymore, and they used to walk by every day. I used to see that lady walk in her lab 2 times a day. I haven't seen her months walking that way. I've seen her walking down Harbor View up to, Beaver Brook up to the main road. Won't even walk through that side of the neighborhood. People are afraid to come over there because of that place.
Do you know how much has been done legally on that?
Just what we heard from the attorney that was there that day, that was there for the public hearing. I thought we were all, I thought we were all
done
set,
deal.
all set, ready to do it, and then,
Is that posted uninhabitable?
Yes.
Then why are we allowing Stan to allow people to inhabit it to remove material?
That's my question. I've asked that many times.
I talked to a former fire marshal, and he told me uninhabitable means uninhabitable. It means no inhabitants for any reason.
That's if you're gonna stay there.
I still believe you need it, they still need, whether they do it or they hire someone to do it, they
Right.
need to be able to get their
But
belongings
there's
out.
gonna be a timeline. We keep,
The other issue is, Stan's been handling this. And I don't know exactly what's been transpired verbally with this. with these
Yeah,
people, other than the fact he tells us that they're supposed to come in, he's down there, he's been down there numerous times, opening it up so they can go in there and do whatever. and think
I
it's
got the
right.
same story, and then,
I got the opinion the last time I talked to Stan about it, they were gonna bring this U-Haul in and get all the crap out of there and put it in a storage unit, and then we could
Well,
get
my
in.
question on that, they're there with a U-Haul today.
they were.
So they're in there getting their whatever, because according to Stan, there was nothing more than garbage in there, so they're getting whatever out of it. So, say they haul off what they want. What's going to happen with the cover it that's full of garbage, the camper that's full of garbage, and the remainder that's in the house? Who's going to be holding the bag on that? The road, like I said earlier, I've got my rodent issue pretty much taken care of, but I got about $400 worth of rat poison and other shit around the house. Chad's taking it a little bit worse because his house is only probably 50 feet. Mine's over 100. You know, and then back in the past email from Stan, he's blaming the rat problem on the house that they tore down on the pond set. You know, Stan being the code enforcement guy, he might want to look, because that house got torn down 3 years ago, and there's a brand-new house that they built on it last fall, so I'm pretty sure there's no rats coming out of that brand-new house. And plus, that house is a football field away, and the common denominator with the rat problem is I have rats, and I'm on Division. Chad has rats, he's on Silver Lane, and then the lady off of, I think it's Harbor View, she has rats. It's a nice little triangle. The common denominator for the rat problem, 3 divisions, dead center. So we know where the rats are coming from.
I think we better start right back with Stan.
I think we need to start with the attorney, and if that one won't do it for us, we get another one.
I think what we need to do is we need to get all the abutters, we need to get Stan, we need to get the attorney, and we need to have a public meeting right here where it's on camera. That way nobody can be all squirrely and be like, oh, we didn't say that, because it's happened for a year.
The fact of the matter is, we can have an abutters meeting, okay? But what are we going to
We can
accomplish out of it?
We can sit down with Stan, we can go through all the old emails. I'll print every one of them things up.
Yeah, but
And
that's not going to solve the problem.
we got to come up with a solution. Come up with a solution that,
The only way to come up with a solution on this is get him into court and get a judgment and go forward. Whether it be tearing the building down or just saying, you can't come back here, we don't care what you got inside that building. It's got to be done legally.
Stan's been letting them go in that house
Well-
on a regular basis for 6 months. How much time do you need to collect your shit when you know that your time is limited? You know, one of the ladies on the board, I don't know what her name is, she mentioned it.
Is this owner physically down there taking stuff out of the house with this?
He only has one leg.
Well, I guess he's not doing much.
So, you know, Brady come and dug him out of the house one night because he'd been in a bed. A little backstory on that. He was all drugged up in his bed, had an infection in his leg. Fire department come to get him out. They peeled the blankets back. From his hip to his toes was covered in maggots.
Well, that's- we don't need to
Angie
go
let
into
him
all
lay
that.
there the whole time. You know, now he's lost his leg,
That's got-
part of his pelvis,
that's got
all that
nothing to
shit.
do with the
Well,
property.
I'm just giving you the story on
I've heard
what he
this-
is.
I've heard this before.
Yeah, so you've heard it. That's what we're dealing with over there. You're dealing with a bunch of drug heads. You know, she obviously didn't care about him when he's laying there in his bed half dead, and somebody called the fire department to come in, so now he's got no leg, lost half of his pelvis and whatever else they had to take out. And he's in and out of the hospital with infections because he'll go in the hospital, he'll get cleaned up. They'll let him out, he shoots himself back up with drugs, goes right back in the hospital for blood infection again. It's right in Stan's emails. This is the issue we're dealing with. And then he lets Angie in there to get her treasures or whatever she wants out of the house. To me, she's just cleaning up her cook site from cooking the meth, just getting rid of all the evidence. And one of the ladies on the board here said the other week, got to give them a timeline. Got to make a decision on something. You can't just let somebody have
Well, I know,
free reign for the rest of the friggin' life.
I know Lori was working on this before she went on vacation last Friday. So, and, excuse me, the discussions I had with her, she found out where the mortgage company was in the Midwest, and that the attorney that they have that handles this area is kind of gone. Been terminated from working with this company, whatever. So as far as we're concerned, you know, I realize that, you know, all we've been through with this situation, we're very limited what we can do. you know,
I understand you're limited on what you can do, but making the comment that it's the abutter's problem when the...
no, we never said it was the abutter's problem.
Stan's email does.
Well, that's wrong.
And it's right from the attorney saying that it's the abutter's problem. When the town started the whole thing after a complaint from the trash people, and then that email throwing the buck on us just shows...
Granted, this is a health and safety situation, no
It
getting
is.
around it. And the only way it's gonna be settled is just, I think we've got to, like you said, we've got to get another attorney. 'Cause this guy's doing nothing.
If he's a veteran, why aren't the veterans stepping in and,
The veterans
Get him
did
out of
step
the
in.
house.
The veterans stepped in to help him. Him and Angie got kicked out of their first place because of drugs.
yeah,
And then they get put up in a motel by the town, and
Not by the
for
town.
a little bit, yeah, general assistance put him up in a hotel in Sanford for a little bit. According
I
to,
heard of it.
according to Stan, the town put him up, helped him out.
Something new every night
I
here.
know
the-
I know the VA has got him in a hotel right now. They've had him in there for a whole month or something.
Yeah,
they
the
paid
VA
for it.
has stepped back in, but, you know, the VA's not gonna flip the buck forever for him either. You know, I just gotta do something about that house. I mean, there's garbage everywhere. I sent a picture to you guys, it's freaking,
I say we either,
I can call the attorney that we've got now tomorrow morning and find out what the hell's the situation here.
because when we had the...
I don't know.
When we had the public hearing, I was under the assumption that it was voted on, and it was a done deal, that we had the right to tear it down. Now we find out that they don't even, that the mortgage company actually doesn't even own the house.
We just gotta get to the bottom and find
Yep.
out just what the situation.
I mean, I know you guys are worried about the money for the town, but if the town acquires that property, the real estate value of just the land is $80,000. The lowest bidder to tear that place down was Woods and Sons Excavation for $14,000. So, in my math, in today's market, bulldoze that place down for 14 grand. I know the town has legal fees, Stan has fees, everything else on it. You put that land up for sale, there's enough people around here, they're gonna probably pay 110, 120 grand for that land because it's already cleared, it already has public water. Sounds to me like the town got their money back. So it's really,
The problem is with any property, it's the title. Who holds the clear title to the property?
when the town acquires that property, according to Stan, the town holds the title on it.
Hence the problem that, like Laurie was doing the research and she'll be back from her vacation to continue to do the research for the title. If the town was to assume that they would hold a clear title and remove the building, and then a legal title holder come out of the woodwork and said, oh, I've got pictures of a standing structure with a good roof, a good foundation, and you've caused me X amount of dollars in loss.
That's where the town needs to go in there and take pictures of everything that's going on.
That's where
before it
we
gets
need to go
windows
in
down.
for the new attorney and get things
We've
and
been,
not
we've
keep
been,
this
we've been a
runaround.
year on this. You know, why hasn't there been all this documentation done instead of allowing these people in and out every week? Sounds to me like somebody's not doing their due diligence on their job. You know, if you're the code enforcement guy and you're putting up, you know, the signs that he did, probably should have been taking some pictures of what's in that cover it. All the 6,000 pounds of garbage in the yard, everything that's in the camper, the condition of the house. But if Stan don't want to, I've got plenty of pictures of it for him. You know, it's getting tiring. It really is. you know,
Well, I've made a note to call the attorney in the morning and find out what the status is as far as they're concerned. And if we can't get any satisfaction out of them on what's gonna happen, then I would strongly suggest for the rest of the board that we get a new attorney, which I think is not too far down the road.
Yep.
I haven't been too much pleased with these guys so far.
I mean, everything since that meeting's been contradictory of, you get one thing, and then 2 days later you get something else, so.
Well, like Wade was saying, the night we had the hearing up to the firehouse, I stood in the room and he was supposed to do, he was doing some copying, and I asked the attorney, I says, okay, what do we do from this point? And he says, well, we just go to court and we take the property. Well, how long has that been? Months?
4 months?
Yeah. And I don't know what's transpired, because I know Brady's dealt with the attorney quite a bit on different things, so I'd have to find out what's going on there too, so. But, like I said, I made a note. I know you don't, you said this is, I don't mean to say I'm kicking the can down the road, but.
You know, I'm gonna say it again. If this property was beside one of you guys, it wouldn't be an issue anymore. I 100% believe that.
You can't really say that, because people have their rights, and believe me, you
I
may.
understand they have their rights, but when they're interfering with the safety and sanctuary of their abutting neighbors.
And you said the state police know about this?
State police know about it. They will not even respond to that property anymore.
They have to.
They don't. We've called them many times, and we reached out to Stan when we had situations, we had pictures, and the state police would not come out. And the reason why the state police stopped determining they were gonna come out is because Stan told us every time we saw somebody there to call the police. So they would respond, and then Angie would say that Stan gave her permission to be there. So they would get a hold of Stan, and then Stan would totally contradict everything that he had said. And the state police basically said, we are no longer going to come out here because
Doesn't expect every call.
everything don't make sense.
Well,
There's no legal stand-in for us to enforce any trespassing because the code enforcement guy has given permission, so they basically can come and go as they please by him giving verbal permission for her to be there. I mean, what am I gonna sue? You know, got people, they don't have a pot to piss in, you know.
Well,
I can't believe they don't have some way of getting out of there.
the law is on their side.
I know that, I understand that.
I don't know if it's still the same situation, but the state police, normally, they don't get involved in those situations.
The problem with Lake Erie,
They're strictly traffic.
Well-
Usually it's the sheriff. that
well, we
get
don't
involved.
have sheriff coverage out here.
Yeah.
You know, and the other big problem is, it's Lake Arrowhead. And none of the police will patrol in Lake Arrowhead unless there's a complaint. That's why you have drug issues and, you know, stash houses in all over Lake Arrowhead, because even though they know there's an issue in there, even though from the state police's admission through Stan's report that it's a drug house and a stash house, they would not patrol in there because it's Lake Arrowhead. So every which way we're screwed in that neighborhood until something can, you know, clean it up, you know,
Well, if there was a
whatever.
shootout down there, they'd show up.
Yeah.
So, anyway, like I said, I'll call the town's attorney in the morning. See what I can find out. If not, we'll probably have to go and get another attorney. Because this obviously isn't going nowhere.
All right.
Okay, that's all I can tell you.
I mean, it's been a year, almost a year, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody has? You fellas got anything you want to bring up?
No, if you get no satisfaction, or we get no satisfaction from that, we get another attorney. Because I have spoken to Stan about this, and he does, the attorney should be doing the legal part of it, not leaving it up to the town.
Yeah. And we just can't, you know, I feel sorry for
Oh,
those people down
I feel
there.
real bad for him, but like I said, I thought it was a done deal after
Oh,
after it was voted on at the public hearing.
yeah. I figured in a month that was gonna go away. But obviously it didn't. Okay, so no other,
I got a hold of them for the salt,
Yes.
and Brady, I guess, had talked to Dennis, and Dennis said it was 510 tons, so I finally got a hold of the lady and told her for the tonnage for the bid for the salt. We have to be
Oh,
on the list
okay,
for the town
yeah.
if we weren't on that, and we got an email that said it had to be in by the 3rd, so I did get a hold of her, and she put us on the list.
great.
Thank you.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Good night, see you next week.